As an English prof, I have seen my share of AI-generated essays. So I thought it might be good to point out some of the main features of AI literature essays. I should say ChatGPT specifically, and I will add the caveat that over time AI is only likely to get better, meaning that some of these stylistic aspects may change. I'm sharing this video because I think we need to have conversations about what it is that AI actually produces. Okay, let's get started. First of all, a big problem is that AI often makes stuff up. If students don't know the subject matter, they will not be able to catch these mistakes, or what are called hallucinations. Here is an example. Currently, ChatGPT does not know how the short story The Boat ends. It gives a variety of different explanations. In this case, ChatGPT thinks that the boat sinks. That's simply not true. When ChatGPT provides literary analysis, it tends to use the same vocabulary over and over. You rarely used to see a word like poignant in a student essay. Now the vocab is a telltale sign. Here's an example of how ChatGPT uses this vocabulary to create very general and repetitive sentences. Not only does AI use a lot of big words, often of Latin origin, but the sentences are long and lack punch. There's no drama. If you summed up this paragraph, what it's really saying is that beauty fades, but love endures. This is of course a cliché, but now we can see more clearly what the point actually is. ChatGPT also loves hyperbole. I often tell students that they don't have to heap praises on the author, which is kind of freeing, as in high school students are often asked to say how much they like a story or a poem. But ChatGPT constantly adds these qualifiers. The worst hyperbole occurs when you ask ChatGPT to write something personal, let's say about love. This is what it thinks a first kiss must be like. 4. Metadiscourse. Metadiscourse refers to the language we use to talk about the process of doing research and writing. Some metadiscourse is great, but AI uses it in liberal quantities. ChatGPT also uses a formulaic paragraph structure. Many paragraphs start with transition words like firstly and moreover. These create the impression of continuity when in reality each paragraph is a separate point. The result is that the essay doesn't flow. 6. The thesis is often weak. In this example, the thesis promises to analyze the topic, but it makes no strong claim. ChatGPT often uses a kind of placeholder thesis that announces the topic but lacks detail. ChatGPT also repeats itself a lot. For instance, AI introductions often go in circles, using synonyms and similar phrasing to give the impression of development. In addition, if you read a few hundred words of text, you'll see the same phrases pop up again and again. Number 8. Lists. ChatGPT often shares a list of topics or subjects that are said to be important. Very often, such a list occurs in the middle of an introduction. The problem is that the relationship between the subjects is not necessarily explained. And finally, if you use the same prompt multiple times, AI returns very similar answers. The result is that we end up with a single interpretation, a kind of general synthesis. There aren't always opposing views. There are no fireworks, and there's little passion. Alright, let me know in the comments what you think and if you would add any other stylistic features.